Iran, one of the most prominent nations in the Middle East for thousands of years, was run by Mohammad Reza Pahlavi from September 1941 to February 1979. Commonly known as the Shah, which means king in Persian, Pahlavi came to full power during World War II. He implemented, during his 4 decades of leadership, a series of reforms intended to transform Iran into a global power. During the 1960s, the United States started having enormous impacts on Iran and its government. The Shah desperately wanted to modernize the country and therefore sought help from the Americans, forgetting about the Iranians' needs and interests in the process. By the late 1970s, many Iranians grew very unhappy with the situation their country was in. Living conditions for most of the population were poor, and the Pahlavi regime had become excessively strict and brutal. The Shah had enforced censorship laws, and democracy and political freedom was not allowed. The Savak, the secret police established by Pahlavi, had been torturing opponents of his regime for more than 20 years. It has been described as Iran's most hated and feared institution. Many of the men and women who were against the Pahlavi regime were sent to prison, among them my father. So that I was wondering if you could talk about Iran prior to the revolution and what it was like.
Iranian government ruled by Shah, who was the king, was a country that was ruled by dictatorship through Shah and his families and his people who were close to him. And the lack of democracy, I think, was most of the cause of the unhappiness of the people, and also the intelligence service that they had established all over the country to get control on how people think if they are against government or not, was also something that made it feel unhappy. And these were, I think, the main reasons for the revolution that happened.
And also, what did you personally think of the Shah's regime, and what did you do about it?
What I thought, actually, I mentioned he was a dictator, and he was supported by the United States and England, and he didn't care about people's benefits. And what I did when I was young as a student with my friends, we did some protests in the university against limitation of the freedom of speech, and also the dictatorship that was applied all over the country.
The Iranian population continued to reject Pahlavi, his government, and his policies. In 1978, in order to bring about change in the country, around 2 million Iranians, most of whom were young adults, filled the streets of Tehran, the Iranian capital, to protest against the Shah. The army was overwhelmed by demonstrations and collapsed, with many soldiers switching sides. Therefore, the Shah was forced to flee his own country, and in January 1979, he was sentenced to exile. The Iranian nation remained without a leader for 2 weeks until the arrival of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. The religious politician had not been to Iran in over 14 years and was welcomed by millions of Iranians who had long desired a return to traditional Islamic values. Considered the leader of the revolution, Khomeini took over the government, and 2 months later, Iran voted by national referendum to become an Islamic republic. In December 1979, Khomeini officially became the supreme leader of the country. This marked the end of the revolution. The Iranian population then had to abide by Khomeini's new laws, most of which were extremely traditional and religious. For example, women now had to cover their heads with a hijab and could be tortured and even killed for not doing so. My mother, who was only 16 at the time, was among the millions of women who were no longer free to wear what they wanted. So, Mom, I was wondering if you could talk to us a bit about the changes that you noticed in Iran after the revolution.
Yes. At the time of the revolution, I was 15, and I was a student at high school. I remember those days after the revolution. At high school, we had more freedom. For example, we could discuss with our teachers, our friends about the revolution, about the government, about the leaders of the revolution, and it was no problem. And on the other hand, we had some limitations. For example, we could we had to wear a hijab, and we had to take some religious courses. That was mandatory to take some courses that we hadn't before, but after revolution, because it was a religious government, we had to take those courses also.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Overall, it is safe to say that the impacts of the Islamic Revolution have been immense even to this day. The revolution is a tremendous display of the power of mankind, and the millions of Iranians who lived these events will surely remember and cherish them forever.